Hey guys, it's Morgan Zegers, and I have some odd, concerning, and sad news for you. A radical climate activist just sacrificed himself on the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court, and the climate change cult left is dangerously praising this man. Here's what happened. WYNN Bruce, a climate activist from Boulder, Colorado, traveled to our nation's capital so that on Earth Day, April 22nd, he could carry out his act. Bruce was a practicing Buddhist, and that was him performing an act of self-immolation. Self-immolation is when someone sets themselves on fire and burns to death in the act of self-sacrifice, usually a show of nonviolent protest. Dr. Kriti K., a Zen Buddhist priest and senior scientist at the Environmental Defense Fund, said, quote, "This guy was my friend. He meditated with our Sangha. This act was not suicide. This is a deeply fearless act of compassion to bring attention to climate crisis." Later saying, quote, "I am so moved." One user said, quote, "We are all committing suicide. WYNN Bruce just did it after great reflection." Another said he did it, quote, "as an act of protest against government inaction on climate change, which has been the greatest willful act of violence against all life on this planet." And for the most part, the other online activists were saying his act of self-immolation adds to the growing need for politicians to act to save our planet from climate crisis. The problem is their demands for action on climate change are to pass things like the Green New Deal, a piece of legislation by self-identified socialist Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Legislation that AOC's chief of staff admitted was originally written as an economic transformation for America and was only later made about climate change and the environment. So I'm sorry, but if you aren't going to be practical in your requested changes to be better to our planet, then we cannot take you seriously. And if you're going to propose incredibly dangerous ideas to save the planet, like upending America's foundation of economic independence, in favor of a government-controlled economy, then you need to expect harsh pushback from a lot of Americans.